this is Helen H. and welcome to my channel, Moss Cottage. I hope everyone is doing well today. I thought today I would work in my prayer journal, and I will fill you in while I'm working on it, excuse me, a little bit about what's going on with my dad and everything. So if you've been on my channel for any time, you know that this is my prayer journal here. And I've got several videos working in this, but I want to share the scripture first that I want to be journaling about today. And it is Matthew 20, 28, starting with Matthew 20:28. And it says, yet it shall not be so among you, but whoever desires to become great among you, let him be your servant. And whoever desires to be first among you, let him be your slave, just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life a ransom for many. No, excuse me. I didn't have that a second ago. Of course, only when the video's on. So that was actually beginning verse 26 and through 28. So 28 is just as the Son of Man did not come to be served. So Jesus didn't come to this earth to be served, but to serve others, my words, and to give his life a ransom for many. So the word that the Lord gave me this year for my life word, let's say, is servant. And I want to do the Lord's will in all things, always. But I wanted to, somehow I got the message that they're to do more than that, to be an actual servant for him. And that can look like many different things. So, we are all commanded, all Christians are commanded to share the gospel. Well, that's one way, that we're all servants to him. That is our command, the Great Commission that Jesus told the apostles before he was crucified, to share the gospel with everybody. And I'm thinking here, I want to cover this up. This is just, the page itself was just from a embroidery type magazine. And so, if I don't like something, I don't like these masks, all these faces here. I don't know why that person has them on the wall, but I guess they like them. So I'm thinking I want to leave a raggy edge here, but maybe not that much. So maybe I'll just cut this a little bit. This is just a piece of coffee stained paper. But anyway, so the Lord gave me the word servant, and it was funny because I had no idea what that entailed, being a servant. Like why he chose that word for me this year, to be a servant. Well, now that I'm fully caring, well, no, okay, I'll take that back. I'm not fully caring for my father. My father is in a rehab right now. He was in the hospital. Now he's been released to rehab. But just like any other place, if you have a loved one who's in a healthcare facility that they're staying in, like overnight or something, or many nights or months or whatever, you have to be an advocate for them. You have to be an advocate for them. The hospital where my father was for a week after he had the sepsis, the UTI and the sepsis, that hospital has won major awards for like their cardiac surgery and all of this kind of stuff. Major awards. But let me tell you something. Day-to-day care, and please do not hear this as it was necessarily the staff that was bad, but day-to-day care, and even the doctors, was not up to par for what I would want for my dad. So you have to advocate for your loved ones at all times, because people forget. Nurses, CNAs are terribly overworked. I know that. Okay, I worked in a nursing home for years, so I know, that they have a lot to do. And so my father is in rehab right now. Well, okay, let me back up a little bit. While he was in the hospital, every day I went to see him. And every day there seemed to be something I needed to advocate for him. Like they weren't changing his Depends, and he was really messy, and in the hospital they'll just let him sit there for 4 hours or more in mess, not cleaning it up, or helping him get, well, he can't do anything. I mean, he was incapacitated, but to get him fixed up. And we want dignity for our loved ones, no matter what their age. They deserve dignity. So, anyway, the facility that my father is in now, excuse me, I don't know why I'm so froggy. Please excuse me. This just started. The facility where my father is now has definitely got some staffing issues. And I'm not saying the quality of the staffing, I'm saying the number of the staffing. Here's the thing. These places, including where my father is now, are run by big corporations who own hundreds of these things. And, generally it always comes down to the same thing. It's the bottom line, making money for whoever, whether it's a private company or it's a corporation, and they're making, that's traded publicly for the stockholders. And it's not necessarily, their first, no matter what their literature says, their focus, let's put it that way, their focus is not the well-being of your loved one, no matter what they say. So this facility where he is now, and I told you in, I believe, my last video, and forgive me if it wasn't, if it was before that. It's hard for me to even keep days straight anymore. But anyway, I believe it was the last video I said that, this place was like a hellhole, and, it needed to be shut down, and this was the kind of place that you see on the news and blah, blah, blah. Well, he's still in that facility. And there's a reason why. A couple reasons. First of all, there are no better options here. My father needs nursing care. He can't be in assisted living. He's not at that point yet. That is still not where he's at. So assisted living is out. He needs a rehab nursing home. And all I have to say is, since he's been there now and he's properly in the system and stuff, the care is actually quite good that he's getting. And I'm going to say that from like the nursing standpoint, physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy. My dad has some problems swallowing, so that's why he needs to work with a speech therapist. And the CNA care has been really good. But the problem is there's not enough CNA care. They just don't have enough CNAs to deal with all the residents who are there and who need attention. And that's just, that's the way it is. That is the reality. But like I said, that's not just nursing homes. That seems to be healthcare everywhere. Excuse me. I was sharing some of the things that had happened in the hospital with some of my friends at church. Last Sunday, I was able to take a break and go to have dinner at church with some of my friends. And we were talking, and the stories that they were telling me about what had happened to, their loved ones or themselves in our local facilities were just as bad. I mean, they were just as bad. One of my friends goes to the VA. He was in the VA hospital. He had some serious stomach issues and infection, like sepsis type infection. And what he was saying was just horrendous, the way the VA had treated him. And I'm not trying to brush a large stroke here. Some facilities are better than others, I get that. But as a whole, our healthcare system really needs to be looked at, and especially from the skilled nursing and CNA standpoint. So I don't know. So servant is my word, and that's the Lord the word the Lord gave me. But now that I am caring for my father every day, mostly every day, I know, and my mother too, because my mother is also 90, and now she's alone at home. Her refrigerator broke. I mean, it's just, while my dad's in the hospital, it's just one thing after the other. And both of my parents are 90, and I'm so thankful to still have them. But it is a lot, and, you do become a caregiver. There's that saying, twice a child, once a man. And unfortunately, both of my parents are at that twice a child stage. So now I know why the Lord chose the word servant for me. I had no idea at the beginning of the year that this was coming. He did, of course. I didn't. And it's been a blessing in that I am really having to draw all my strength from the Lord. Because sometimes you don't think you have one more ounce to give, but the Lord will give you what you need to get through. The Lord will do it. So, so this was Romans 20:28. So what I do, if you're not familiar, you're new to my channel, I decorate the pages, and it's always like at least 2 pages like this. One will be more decoration, and here I've got this picture of this little girl here, and she's got something and looks like seed to me, and she's going to be feeding these birds here. So she's serving. That's her way of serving. I mean, there's so many ways that we can serve, and even one person has different ways that they serve in their life, even if it's just praying for somebody, right? So I write the scripture reference here. So this is Matthew 20:28. So what I will do then is I will write my prayer in my private time, or in my quiet time tomorrow morning. I'll write a prayer here about being a servant. And I can even write straight over this if I want to. But I like to decorate the pages first and then write the prayer. And then in this particular book, I've made it all about tabs. I've got big chunky tabs on the side, so of course we need to put a tab on this side. Anyway, so my word for you all today, or my thought for you all today, is to ask the Lord, how can you serve? How can you be a servant? And it might not be at this point in your life caring for an elderly parent. It could be, oh my gosh, it could be holding the door for somebody at a grocery store, letting somebody go in line ahead of you who only has one item and you've got a whole cart. Even just smiling at people anymore is being a servant. So we need more servants. We do need more servants. And I'm not saying that I'm this great saint because I'm taking care of my parents. I'm not. At most, what I'm doing is keeping one of the commands about honoring your mother and your father. This is a book, let's see here. I'm not sure where I got this. It's a book of creating in faith journaling note cards. And they're really pretty, and they're very heavy. I don't know if you can hear that. They're quite heavy cardstock. So what I wanted to do was just to find one, and I think I'll use the first one here because these other ones have such pretty pictures on them. The first one is just a pattern. I mean, I love the pattern, but I'm going to go ahead and take this one because I'm going to cut out a tab for this page here. So usually what I do when I'm doing the tabs is I'll take a couple pages before and hold them over and see there's a tab here, and a tab here, but there's not one here. So right around here is where I'm going to attach a tab on this one. Let me just take a pencil real quick. I'm just going to make a tiny little X right there. And this is a different, I mean, I do my pages all different. A lot of times I will surround the whole page on both sides with paper and stuff. But I'm really changing it up a little bit, and I'm doing it a little bit different this time. I can see I went way off there, but that's okay. So I'm just going to make a little tab here by just taking a piece of paper, this piece of paper here, and I'm going to be putting it right here. And I want it to stick out enough that I can see it. So if it's there, can I see it? Yes, okay. Although it could even go out a little bit further. So maybe I'll bring it right up to that line in this paper here. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, you can staple them in, and usually I would, because this is a really quite a stiff cardboard. However, I just realized that I had taken my bag of cluster things to the nursing home yesterday when I was with my dad, and put my tiny attacher in there, and it's still in there, and now it's hanging up in my closet. I didn't actually do any crafting with my dad yesterday, but we had I had his spa day for him. I did all kind. I cut his fingernails and gave him like a real nice warm face cloth, and I massaged his hands with lotion, and he shaved, and we got his teeth brushed, and we had a little spa day yesterday, so that took up most of my time. Okay, so there's the tab there. So here it is. Here's my little prayer page. You know what? I'm going to add a little bit more. Why not? I've got this what is this? Faux aged tape that I made using alcohol inks. Let's just use a couple pieces of this. Now, I don't think this is going to stick. I don't think it is, but we'll see. If it doesn't, then you can always just run a little glue stick underneath it. Okay, well, that's going down at an angle, but that's okay. Just for a little, I don't know, extra decoration, I guess. Why does this have fur in it? What is that? I'm not sure if that's fur. I don't know what that is. Let's just put a piece right here, just for a little added interest. You know, with my prayer journals, see, this one's not sticking quite well. With my prayer journals, it's always more is better. I never quit with these things. I don't know why. I just go on and on. Usually with my regular collage, I'm pretty minimal. I mean, I don't add 10,000 things. I add enough, but not extra. But on these, my prayer journal, okay, but you know, I do things in threes, so we need another piece. What is this that's on here? It looks like fuzz, but what is it? I have no idea. So I need to cut that off. But that's okay because it makes the pieces a little extra interesting. Let's see. Yeah, let's just put a piece down there. So guys, yeah, so please look for ways to be a servant. If you've been praying for my father, please continue to pray. We're not sure what our next step is now. Right now, though, he is going to be in rehab to gain his strength and be able to get up and use his walker again. There's many issues with that, you know, that may not even be a possibility, but we're just taking it one day at a time. So I really appreciate, I know a lot of you comment that you pray for us, and I must say I covet every single prayer. And I have a special prayer request right now. My mother and my brother had the neurovirus last week, and they couldn't visit my dad. So for the last 2 days, I've been the sole caretaker for my not that my brother usually only comes once or twice a week, but my mom was usually doing lunch, and I was doing breakfast with my dad. Well, I've had to do breakfast and lunch for both days because they both had the neurovirus. Well, I told them, you need to stay away from the nursing home, stay away from Dad. My husband had to go and help my mom when her fridge broke, getting the guys to deliver the new one, and he has now got neurovirus also. So he is downstairs. I'm trying to stay away from him as much as possible. However, he wasn't feeling bad, and it had been like a good 36 to 48 hours since he had been in contact with my brother and my mother. And, you know, he's got the norovirus now. So I was with him. He made dinner for me last night. And there's a strong possibility that I'm going to get it. So I'm fasting right now. I mean, I'm drinking plenty of fluids, but I'm not going to eat any food because that will help when it kicks in. If you've had it, you know what this is all about. So I'm not eating anything right now so that if it does distress my stomach, there won't be that much to dispel. So please, if you are a praying person, pray Psalm 91 over me that this pestilence will not come on me. Because I can't be a caregiver for the people I need to be a caregiver for if I'm sick. So anyway, if it happens, then the Lord's telling me, Helen, you need a break too. I'm accepting it anyway, but I'm trying to take it smart, and you know, I'm not eating anything. I'm just drinking stuff right now. I'm just really trying to take care of myself as best I can, as well as my husband. So, guys, I hope you like this. I hope you liked the video. Please give me a thumbs up if you did. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I ask that you do. And until the next video, I hope you're all truly blessed. Bye-bye.